In the early hours of February 20th, 2025, Jaylee Ann Brock, a little 5-year-old girl, woke up to an alarm sounding from her parents' bedroom. Confused and scared, Jaylee went to their room and found both parents lying in bed, seemingly asleep. But when she touched her mother's hand, she realized it was ice cold. Panicked, Jaylee woke her older sister Sarah, who called 911 around 4 a.m. When the police arrived, they quickly launched an investigation that led to a shocking twist across the United States. The couple, James and Kristen Brock, lived in Carrollton, a small and quiet city with just over 26,000 residents located in Carroll County in the state of Georgia. Carrollton is about an hour away from Atlanta, the state capital. The small town is known for its peacefulness, green landscapes, and a very tight-knit community. It's the kind of place where someone would want to live to start a family. James Brock was born on January 1, 1980 in Forest Park, a city also located in the state of Georgia. James, better known as Jamie by his friends, grew up with his mother, Joanne Allen, and 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister named Kimberly. His biological father wasn't very present, and the family, in addition to facing serious hardships, also went through several tragedies. In 1999, James's mother Joanne died after a heart transplant. Later, James's 2 brothers also passed away, leaving only him and his sister Kimberly as the remaining members of the family. Because of that, James and Kimberly became very close and supported each other through anything. Despite the tragedy-filled life he had, James was not a sad or downcast man. On the contrary, anyone who met him would never imagine what he had been through. James was known for his sense of humor. He loved making others laugh, even during hard times. James's first wife was a woman named Tiffany, with whom he had 3 children, Tristan, Trenton, and Joseph, who were born between 1996 and 2002. James and Tiffany's marriage lasted a few years before they decided to divorce. After the divorce, James met a woman named Jennifer, with whom he had another son, Jaden, born in 2013. James and Jennifer's relationship didn't last long either, and they separated a few years later. Despite that, James reportedly kept friendly ties with both women. In 2022, James started facing serious heart problems, including a heart attack and congestive heart failure. In October that year, he received an implantable defibrillator. When his body rejected the device, he underwent surgery in December 2022 to get a left ventricular assist device, LVAD. This machine helped his heart pump blood and was connected to an external battery. Despite the surgeries and waiting for a heart transplant, James stayed optimistic, posting on Facebook about his love for Kristen and gratitude for his family. Now let's talk about Kristen Brock. Kristen was born on April 12, 1983 in Rome, Georgia. She grew up in a blended family. Her parents, Luann and Dennis Nolan, were divorced, and she had several siblings and half-siblings. In 2007, Kristen married Daniel Patrick and they had 2 children, Sarah Grace Patrick, born April 28, 2008, and Donnie, born October 2012. Kristen and Daniel's marriage lasted a few years before they divorced. According to sources, they maintained an amicable relationship. Kristen worked in the special education department for schools in Cobb County, but left her job to care for James full-time after his heart surgery. James and Kristen met in 2017. They had a lot in common, including past divorces and struggles with substance abuse. Before they met, both had issues with addiction, though sources didn't specify the substances involved. They found strength in their faith, attending Carrollton's First Baptist Church, where they were active and well-liked. In October 2019, they had a daughter, Jaylee Ann Brock. Later, in December 2023, they officially got married. Despite James's health challenges, the couple appeared close, with James posting on social media about his love for Kristen and dedication to family. James and Kristen built a family rooted in love and resilience. Besides 5-year-old Jaylee, the household included 16-year-old Sarah Grace and occasionally 12-year-old Donnie, who sometimes stayed with his dad, Daniel Patrick. The family was well regarded in the community, but behind closed doors, tensions simmered that only surfaced after the tragedy. Now let's meet the third key figure in this case, Sarah Grace Patrick. Born April 28, 2008, Sarah was Kristen and Daniel Patrick's eldest daughter. She was raised in Rome, Georgia, then moved to Carrollton with her mom, Kristen. Her parents divorced when she was young, and later her mom met James. Sarah attended North Star Academy, a Christian school where she was known for being smart and involved. Sarah made a point of joining various school activities and church events. However, according to some sources, Sarah struggled with emotional issues. Her mom, Kristen, and stepdad, James, tried to manage her mental health. After turning 16, Sarah started posting on social media about feelings of loneliness and sadness. She was very active online, especially on TikTok, where she shared videos about her life. Sarah's relationship with her stepdad, James, was complicated. Some sources say they got along fine with no major issues, while others report tension due to family conflicts and pressure on Sarah to help care for her younger sister, Jaylee. Additionally, some sources say Sarah was bothered by James's fragile health, seeing him as a heavy burden for her and her mom to carry. Everyone saw Sarah as a typical teenager, with a boyfriend, friends, and dreams for the future. She was reportedly excited about graduating in 2026. Despite all their problems, the family seemed happy and calm, but everything changed that night. In the early morning hours of February 20th, 2025, the Brock family home in Carrollton, Georgia was quiet, except for the sound of an alarm. The device James had implanted in his heart, equipped with an external alarm to signal failures, went off, waking 5-year-old Jaylee. The little girl ran to her parents' bedroom and found James and Kristen in bed, seemingly asleep. But when she touched her mother's hand, it felt cold. Panicked, she woke her older sister Sarah, who called 911 around 4 a.m. When Carroll County Sheriff's deputies arrived, they found 45-year-old James Brock and 41-year-old Kristen Brock dead in bed. Each had multiple gunshot wounds, 5 shots in total, according to close friends, though police never officially confirmed the exact number. There were no signs of forced entry, nothing was stolen, and the house looked untouched, except for the crime scene in the bedroom. The murder weapon was not found at the house. Traumatized, Jaylee was taken to her maternal grandmother's home, Luann Nolan. Sarah and her 12-year-old brother Donnie went to live temporarily with their biological father, Daniel Patrick, as the investigation began. Carrollton residents were in shock. James and Kristen were beloved members of Carrollton's First Baptist Church, and the idea of a killer on the loose sparked panic. Kristen's father, Dennis Nolan, offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the culprit. The detectives faced a mystery. Who would kill a couple in their sleep without leaving signs of struggle or theft? The lack of forced entry suggested the killer knew the house. The family's neighbors said they saw and heard nothing unusual. Police began collecting physical and digital evidence, including the phones of James, Kristen, and Sarah, but the first months of the investigation didn't point to any suspects. In the days after the murders, Sarah was completely devastated. On March 8, 2025, she spoke at James and Kristen's funeral at Carrollton's First Baptist Church, in front of a crowd of friends and family. Her speech, recorded by WSB-TV, was heartfelt. "Thank you for all the life lessons you taught me and for being the best parents. James, your heart will finally be healed in heaven, and neither of you will feel pain anymore. Although we can't bring you back, we still control how we treat others. Listen to each other because we never know when it'll be the last time. Love with everything you have, just like they did."
I want to say goodbye to my mom and Jamie since we never got the chance to. I was so used to you guys always being here to the point that I never once thought to imagine y'all not being here. I didn't have a single clue how much I needed y'all until now. For James, thank you for all the life lessons you taught me and for being the best bonus dad ever. Your heart will finally be healed in heaven and neither of y'all will be in any pain anymore. Although that gives me so much comfort, your fight was not supposed to end there. And for my mother, everything we went through does not define what kind of person or what kind of mother you were.
The speech moved everyone, but months later it would be seen in a different light. Sarah began posting on TikTok, documenting her grief. On March 1st, she shared a video captioned, "1 year later, my 5-year-old sister and I would find them dead in our home, unable to say goodbye." On March 18th, she posted a crying video with the caption, "I'm so tired, I'll probably delete this later." On Mother's Day in May, she posted a tribute to her mom, calling her my best friend. Her posts, full of tears and pleas for support, brought thousands of messages of sympathy. But Sarah went even further. She reached out to true crime creators on TikTok, like Allegedly Reportedly, with 130,000 followers, and Jade Talks Crime, asking them to cover her parents' case. On June 3, 2025, she messaged allegedly reportedly saying, "Look into the Brock case. My parents, James and Kristen Brock." When asked, she hinted the video would get a lot of views.
Y'all, this is Sarah Grace, and she messaged me back on June 3rd and just said, search up Brock case. So I said, Brock Turner? Brock who? She said, Kristen and James Brock. Hold on. They're my parents, and out of nowhere, a random Thursday night in February, someone came in my house with me and my 5-year-old sister, and my parents left them for me and my little sister to wake up to. Technically, it was a Wednesday night because I found them Thursday morning, and I said, not knowing she was going to wind up arrested for this, I am so sorry. I cannot imagine. I will absolutely research and cover their case. Please take care of you always. Again, not knowing, and I covered it.
In comments, Sarah answered questions about the crime with a gun emoji and said the killer must have known the house. What seemed like a grieving daughter's desperation later became key evidence. While Sarah spent most of her time on social media, the family home was emptied and sold, a process she described as painful on TikTok. Still, her life seemed to move on. In July, she posted videos from a beach trip for the 4th of July, smiling with friends, contrasting sharply with her mourning posts. This duality puzzled detectives. How could a girl so devastated by her mom and stepdad's deaths switch emotions so fast? The Carroll County Sheriff's Office, with help from the FBI and Georgia Bureau of Investigation, ran a thorough probe. They called it a mountain of physical and digital evidence. One key point: no signs of forced entry. The killer had easy access to the house. The murder weapon was never found. Detectives speculated it was either a household gun or brought by someone with access. James and Kristen were shot while sleeping, with no signs of struggle. James's heart device alarm went off when his heart stopped, waking Jaylee, but Sarah claims she didn't hear the shots or alarm, even though she was home. Since Sarah lived there, her DNA and fingerprints were expected everywhere, making it hard to pinpoint incriminating evidence unless directly linked to the weapon or victim's blood. Sarah's phone was seized for analysis. Messages, browsing history, and TikTok posts were reviewed. Her contacts with true crime creators and comments like the gun emoji raised suspicion. Sarah's videos, especially those suggesting intimate knowledge of the crime, didn't match typical grieving behavior. Her message to allegedly reportedly and interactions with other creators suggested she wanted to draw attention to the case, possibly to manipulate the story. In testimony, 5-year-old Jaylee said she found her parents after James's heart alarm went off. Her claim that she woke Sarah to call 911 seems suspicious, since in a small house it would be hard not to hear 5 gunshots. Detectives believe Sarah was already awake and knew that once her sister found the parents dead, she'd call her. On July 7, 2025, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office announced a shocking twist. After months of investigation, 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick was charged with killing Kristen and James Brock, her mother and stepfather. She turned herself into police, accompanied by her father, Daniel Patrick, after being notified of the warrants. Sheriff spokesperson Ashley Hulsey said all the evidence points to Sarah as the perpetrator. The police didn't reveal a motive, but emphasized they have a mountain of collected evidence. The case and its shocking twist stunned the United States.
Today, we can confirm that an arrest has been made in the case. Kristen Brock's 17-year-old daughter, Sarah Grace Patrick, has been taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
The Brock family story has been widely covered in the media in recent days. The small town of Carrollton's community still struggles to believe Sarah could be behind the murders. Sarah Grace Patrick, now 17, is being charged as an adult. She faces charges that could lead to life in prison without parole. Held without bail, she awaits trial, set to begin after August 5, 2025, according to the latest updates. The prosecution, led by Joan Kiko, relies on digital evidence and the lack of other viable suspects. The defense, represented by Pani Magwanya, challenged the authenticity of some documents, but the prosecution validated Sarah's emails and laptop as evidence. The Carrollton community is divided. Many, including members of Carrollton's First Baptist Church, can't believe Sarah, described as a sweet religious teenager, could commit such an act. Others, shocked by her TikTok posts, see them as evidence of manipulation. Jaylee, now 6 years old, lives with her grandmother Luann. James's sister Kimberly created an Amazon wish list to support her niece. Anyone visiting the Amazon page can buy items that Jaylee, now an orphan, needs. James and Kristen's family continues seeking answers about the motive behind the crime. Though Sarah turned herself in, she hasn't confessed or explained her motive. So Sarah Grace's reason remains unknown, but several theories arise from evidence and family context. First, mental health issues. Sarah posted about mental health struggles on TikTok, mentioning calls to support hotlines. Experts say teens can show dissociative behaviors after crimes, like in the Casey Anthony case. At 16, Sarah's brain wasn't fully developed, which could have influenced her actions or reactions. Second, family conflicts. Sources say there were tensions in the family, though details weren't specified. Sarah may have felt anger toward her stepdad James or mom Kristen over undisclosed issues, like restrictions or household problems. Third, abuse or neglect. No solid evidence exists, but some speculate Sarah may have suffered abuse or neglect, directing her anger at her parents. This is common in parricide cases but hasn't been confirmed here. The fourth theory is premeditation or impulse. The missing weapon suggests planning, while shooting the parents in their sleep points to a calculated act to avoid confrontation. Her gun emoji comments on TikTok hint at knowledge of the crime method. The fifth and final theory is attention-seeking. Sarah's interactions with true crime creators and public posts may show a desire for notoriety or an attempt to manipulate the narrative, possibly to ease guilt or divert suspicion. Her social media behavior shows she liked the attention from strangers. Besides these theories, police are also investigating Sarah's boyfriend. They suspect he might have been directly or indirectly involved or at least aware of Sarah's intentions. For now, it's just suspicion, and police will investigate any connection he may have to the case. Sarah Grace Patrick's case is tragic in every way. A loving couple taken from their family, a 6-year-old child forever scarred, and a teenager, once seen as a victim, now facing the possibility of never leaving prison. This case is a dark reminder of how appearances can deceive. Sarah's tears on TikTok, her funeral speech, and pleas for justice hid a disturbing truth. Now she awaits trial, likely never to walk free again.